So think of this. Technically and very literally, we are energy beings. We put out energy from the head, from the heart, synaptic activity, all the energy within us, sexual energy, emotional energy, kundalini energy, chi energy, just energy beings. We are fucking energy beings. And to the degree that you know about this, we put out this energy field, this toroidal field around us that extends for about 6 feet, as they say. And with certain cameras and such, they can measure this stuff. Okay, let's assume that all of this is true. Or let's just sit here and think, yep, everything you just said is actually true. Ever wonder why we can't see or read energy? Isn't that kind of an interesting dynamic? Given eyes that see in the spectrum of light, that sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum, given a rudimentary 5 senses, and we only see a very small sliver of the light spectrum as it is. Okay, so there's that. So we're energy beings that were made in such a way that we can't see energy, read energy. Some people, a little higher advanced, you can interpret people's energy sometimes, but sometimes you get into somebody's energy and you don't know what the fuck you're dealing with or where this weird thing's coming from because you're in someone else's energy and you can't read it. We can go through our whole lives experiencing shit like that. Let's say you meet somebody that's got a real fucked up energy, real fucked up, but they put on a smiley face. And while they're smiling at you and saying and doing all the right things, you got this really weird feeling. It's like unsettling, this really, whatever it is, negative, something you don't like, something you can't place. It's new. Where did it come from? And you don't read that it's actually them. They leave and it kind of goes away and you may not read that. You may not figure that out. Put 2 and 2 together. You meet somebody else, something similar. It's because we can't read energy. I really, really, really wonder why, short of malevolent intentions, we would have been made in such a way that we cannot see energy, considering it's such an integral part of our actual 3D living mass body. The physical meat suit emits energy, head, heart, body, all that stuff, synapses, all of it. But somehow, and then if I have a smiley face on, but I have really fucked up intentions, or my energy's really fucked up. And some people don't realize how powerful their energy is to other people who can feel others' energies but not realize what they're doing. It's really weird how this fucking dynamic with energy unfolds. And when you have people who are super empathic and not actually aware of it, oh, that's a bit of a roller coaster ride of fucking energy. Interpreting it when you're feeling it is one thing, but being able to see it and interpret it in other ways that I think would prove to be most useful in the reality that we find ourselves in. Because what if the theory that I have that the human vessel, the physical meat sack, is just a vessel, and multiple types of animating entities, if you will, the souls of multiple types of being can incarnate, and well, they're playing human, but what's animating them is not. Thusly we see what the psychopath, I don't know. Thusly we see they live scenarios all over the world for those who have the eyes to see it. So if we could see the energy in the vessel, well, we would be able to more accurately interpret. We would more by default have the eyes to see, for instance, in the context that they were showing and they live. Because we would be able to see them based on the energy, and no matter what they said, we could tell. You know what I'm saying? It's real easy to deceive a human with words, smiling faces, happy voices that are nothing but a front for a demonic entity type thing, or just a demon or whatever that's behind it, putting it up as a front, a facade. Narcissistic people do this shit all the fucking time, and we call them covert narcissists. And when they strike, it's like getting bit in the throat by a cobra or a black fucking mamba. And how much different the human life would be, and probably relationships and bonds with people, how much different the playing field of that type of stuff relevant to being human would be if we could only interpret energy. Because, well, hell, that would change the playing field now, wouldn't it? Because it would make it an awful lot more for everyone to determine if you were lying, if your words were not congruent with your energy, if your energy was incongruent with your words or your actions or something like that. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. When you can see that words and actions don't match energy, you can more accurately interpret, perceive deception, ill intention. You see what I'm saying? I mean, how deeply do you want to, could I philosophize on it? It's not probably necessary to make it all that long. Points I think that are most relevant have been made. We are quite literally, foundationally energy beings in this physical fucking vessel. Well, it's one of the things we are foundationally because of the energy that's required to run the heart, the body, the nervous system, synapses, all this stuff. Yep, we are fundamentally, foundationally, as 3D living, walking creatures, thinking, breathing, all that stuff. We're energy beings. It's that energy that is the animating force to a large degree, or is a accoutrement to the animating force of the spirit, I guess. Yet we can't see it. And many of us will struggle to read it, interpret it, understand where energy is coming from when it's coming at us. Or not know where it's coming. Can feel it, just can't sense or feel it. Yeah. Think of all the variations of that you may have heard of or experienced in your own life. Where it was somebody else's energy, you felt something really fucked up, and maybe later on you're like, maybe I was getting demonically attacked or attacked with black magic or whatever it could have been. Just like, if we could see or interpret energy. In the realm that we live in, we're told we suffer most and most greatly from the principles and principalities in high places that are not of this world, that kind of thing. Yet we don't have any ability to perceive and sense that. We don't have the eyes to see the energy of the people around us. We don't fundamentally have the ability to interpret that energy. I mean, I guess we have to be taught to talk, form of communication. So reading energy may be one of those things, and we have to be taught. I will concede that is very possibly something we could do, and we have no freaking idea how to do it because we've never been taught, and maybe we could. But in the current state of the vast majority of the human species, up to and including myself, we do not have the ability to see, interpret, read, and many of us, many people who feel, see, energy, they don't know where the fuck it's coming from. You know what I mean? I said see, but I was just trying to throw some words in a range of things where people will experience or have experiences with the energy of others. And where words and actions may have shown one thing and given an illusion, you know what I mean? If we obviously had the ability to read or sense someone's energy without having to be one of the quote-unquote special people that are kind of tuned in and stuff, those weird people that are all into energy and stuff and vibes. But I think you get the point. I think there's something to it in that, and I hate to admit it, it doesn't point to benevolent design, benevolent creation. It just looks to me like one of the additional limitations that were girded upon humans. Let's make them and put them in a realm where things that they won't even be able to see with the eyes that they've given them are going to be able to twist up their life, fuck with their minds, all the things that man has known or believed the spirit forces do, or the aliens do, or any other type of thing like that. If we could interpret energy, if something was like an alien that was able to morph into a human and do something like they show us in the movies, you never know how much of that shit could actually be real. If we could read energy, might be able to, they may not be able to do that. It may not be an effective tactic. So in order for all of the things that go on here, for it to be possible to happen in the realm that we live in, for it to be possible for these things to happen, we would have to have been purposely engineered for this shit so that we would be controlled, manipulated, influenced, fucked with by forces beyond our ability to visually see. Yet, well, man believes and is told for thousands of years, some figured it out the hard way, that these forces are quite fucking real. So whether it's that shit, or the energy out of a human. We got fucking blinders on as a species when it comes to reading energy, for the most part, for most people, in most cases. So does that point to benevolent creation? Let's empower them so they can't be manipulated in the realm that I give them life in. Yeah. Yeah, I think being able to see, read, interpret energy to the degree that it is a reality for us as a species, we would far more accurately interpret our reality and the people in it, and be far better equipped to determine who it is we were going to engage with based off of, well, probably a more accurate bead on them, and that's their energy. On a lot of levels. I mean, not every level. You know, sometimes you can know somebody and their energy can get all fucked up and they're just in a fucked up place, but they're still kind, they're still nice, but their energy's all fucked up. I get it. I get those types of scenarios. But I'm not talking about that. Although in those scenarios, it's still useful to be able to read, interpret, see, understand energy. Because it's another layer of human interaction, quite literally. Think of how energies exchange and flow when you have sex. Think of how energies exchange and flow when you're in dialogue with somebody and you're all tuned in and it's like a real cool conversation. You're both just feeding off each other's energy. Feeding off each other's energy in a way where it's just like you both get real juiced and, you know, you're just vibing. Huh. Yeah, we have some references for this energy thing. We have some references where, yeah, energy. Interesting how we're energy beings. We can feel it. But I tell you, man, it would be an awful lot more, I think, I don't know, equally as beneficial or possibly more to be able to see it in this realm, in these meat sacks. And that would just be a little bit of an increase in the quality of our freaking eyes. I mean, think of all the varying types of eyes that whatever has created all the shit on this planet has created. There's some amazing eyes. The eyes that eagles have and raptors and just other types of things, that owls and cats and just all kinds of interesting types of eyes where, I mean, why do you think dogs pick up on people's fucked up energy? And some dogs are like, I don't like that person. The owner will look at it and be like, oh, he looks cool, but the dog just ain't having it. What's going on there? Is the dog seeing the energy? Or is it feeling? I don't know. Who knows? But interestingly enough, there's a little example. Have you ever had a situation where you had a dog and you trusted that dog's judgment? You knew the dog, you raised the dog, you know, and every once in a while the dog there was somebody that it just didn't warm up to, didn't like, would maybe even growl or bark at, and you're, And perhaps you even got a weird vibe out of that person as well. And you're like, yeah, okay. So what is that dog? And before your dog did that, maybe you weren't sure. Well, what is your dog seeing that you're not in that scenario? Because I've had that happen a handful of times. So there's energy coming out of that person that is smiling and saying something nice. Oh, yeah, hey, hi. But somewhere the dog's just like, not having it, not having it. So why wouldn't we be able to see and interpret that? Because we can't see and interpret and read energy.